Hey everyone, thanks for joining. I'm pretty excited today to start this new and hopefully ongoing event where we explore these AI tools in a little bit more detail than perhaps we've been able to just in the informal way that it's been progressing. So, over the past 2 years even, I've been kind of in and around this AI space looking at, well, what is this technology and what can we do with it? As some of you might know, I've been working on an open core platform called Engage. And the idea behind this platform is that it is a tool to let schools, people, organizations explore AI models and see, well, what are they powerful for? What can they do to support me in my organization? And what can they do to help me? Also, very important, what can't they do? And so that's what I really want to explore today. There's this mysterious world of what we call local models, which are AI tools that you can run on your own local computer. So this isn't ChatGPT. These are much smaller models, but they're still quite powerful. And they offer their own interesting benefits. So what I was hoping was that for our inaugural promptathon over the next 2 weeks, anyone who's interested can learn in this video, as well as resources that I will share on how to build tools with these local models. And then, we can actually try to build things and say, hey, does this work? Some of the benefits of running a model locally means that your data doesn't go anywhere. It just stays on your computer or your, school's network. And so when we look at like, how do we engage with more private information around students or around our teaching and learning, things that we don't necessarily want to share with Microsoft or OpenAI or Anthropic, well, is it possible with these models? And then on top of that, we need to look at, well, can we look at some of these commercial platforms that exist and then replicate what they offer locally? So what are we going to do today? Well, first we're going to learn about different AI models. Like, I understand I've been in this space for quite a while and I've dived fairly deeply into it, but I don't want to assume that we all know what I'm talking about. So I want us to talk a little bit about, well, what are these different generative AI models? Generative meaning that they create things. So these text models like ChatGPT can create words. We put in input, they come out with others. I'm also going to very briefly touch on to like, how can you get these running on your own computer? And then finally, we're going to spend the majority of this looking at like, how do we build our own AI tools? And I'm going to show you how to use my platform, Engage, to build tools like this that you can share with anyone on LinkedIn. So first of all, what are local models? Well, they are things that run locally on your computer, like any type of program. So the big ones that have come out recently are Mistral, which comes from a company in France, and Meta's Llama, which comes from Meta, who are the Facebook guys. And these are models that you can download and run off of your MacBook or off of your computer. Actually, there's another really cool one from Microsoft called Phi, which is an even smaller model, which you can run off your phone. There's a lot of interest from companies to say like, well, rather than having all these servers in the world, how do I run them off of people's phones? They've got all this power anyways. And then, it's Siri 2.0. So what we want to look at is not only what are these local models, but why should we run them locally? So number one, we talked about this is privacy. Privacy, well, if it's just running off my computer, then I can ask it anything, whether it's about student information, whether it's about my own like personal information that I don't necessarily want to share. I know that that information isn't going anywhere. Number two, and why I'm really interested in it, is it really helps you understand this technology more. It's not just a website you go to. You start looking at like, well, what does it do? How do they work, etc. And number three is cost. So why is there a question mark there? Well, you can't just run this off of a very, very lightweight computer. And if you want to run it for your school, like, you will need video cards. There is a cost that will be incurred. But, if you look at, well, how much does Copilot cost? It costs $30 per user per month. If I want to run that out to an organization of 3,000 people, that's $15,000 a month. It's a lot of money. So how can you find the best models? How do you stay up to date? All of these like weird terms flying around. Well, there's a really interesting space online called the Hugging Face Open LLM Leaderboard. I see a lot of talk about open models online, but I don't always see people sharing this link. And this is from Hugging Face. So if you're not aware, Hugging Face is like the big repository of AI tools and models on the internet. And here you can see like they have about 10, 20,000 models that have all been ranked across these different ways to rank models. We won't go into them in like a huge amount of detail, but there's ones that test their knowledge against grade school questions, against university questions, against common language. And overall, you get this final score. So looking at this, we can filter it down. Generally, if you're looking at models that you could run on your computer, you're going to want to filter this down to this 7 billion parameters model. This is something where if you've got an entry-level MacBook Pro, you could run this on your computer. And any of these models you're able to download and try wherever you like. Another way that you can look for, well, what are some popular and cool models, is just to go to Hugging Face. You click on models, and then you can just search by trending. So specifically, what we're looking at, I believe, are these conversation models like Llama. It says text generation. So on the side here, we're going to look for text generation. Over here, if I click on this, I can see what the most popular models are. So we've got Llama, we've got this Gradient AI one, Hermes, etc. Generally, if you look like this, you're going to get like the top quality, big name models that you want to see. You can just go to one and then click on files and you can download it directly. So it's really easy to get started with these. Once you download it, how do you run it? Well, there's a ton of different programs. I'm not going to spend too much time on it, but there's LM Studio, Ollama, and another one called Yan, I believe. Maybe it's Jan, but I think it's Yan. And these are all tools that run like directly on your laptop or your desktop, and you can run any of these models. But today we're really going to look at something called Engage for Education. And so Engage for Education is this tool that I'm building that is open source or open core, which means that when it releases, schools can deploy it for free. There will be other tiers if you need more support or you want more features. But the general idea is that you can use any AI tools and build your own custom AI solutions very easily from this tool. Specifically this week or for this promptathon, I really want to look at, well, how do we use local models? So these models that we just looked at to try to build our own tools. Because isn't it really cool if like, your school is running your own AI, you own it. If the internet goes down, doesn't matter, it's there. If you want to change something or look at how something different can be done, then you have the full power to do that. So what are we going to look at today? We're going to look at, well, how do we build AI tools with local models? How do we test them? And then how do we know if they're any good? So these are the kind of the questions that I want us to try and answer during this promptathon. If you're interested in joining, try to build things. Come up with a hypothesis. I wonder if the local models can do this. And then we're going to play with it and see how far we can go. So what are some very specific things that we can do? Well, we can rebuild an existing tool. So we're going to try and do that now-ish. We can build something maybe that we couldn't use an existing tool for, like something built around maybe more private data, things that I don't want to share. Or finally, let's test it and see like how far can it go? What can't it do? So I'm going to hop over to Engage. And so I'm going to give a very quick overview of what this platform is. But if you're interested in joining the promptathon and you don't have an account, just send me a message, Ryan@4.education, or message me on LinkedIn. And so over here, I'm in the promptathon group. I have all these members. Everyone in that group is able to create their own flows, which we're going to do now. And they're also going to be able to try out all these different flows that we have. So I'm going to click here. I'm going to create a new flow. But first, I need an idea of what kind of flow I want to create. So we said, okay, we're going to try to look at it like an existing solution and build one that, runs locally or runs on these different models. So one nice place to find some easy prompts is the AI for Education prompt library. So we'll go there and we'll look through a couple of these. So I'm just scanning. I haven't prepared this in advance, but I'm fairly confident we'll be able to do it. And like, let's say we look at SEL icebreakers. That sounds kind of nice. So here they have a prompt already for me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at this. Now, the way Engage works is that we're going to create a form. We're going to create a wrapper. We're going to create a tool where we ask the user for some information. They give it back to us, and then we run it through our AI system. So looking through this AI for Education prompt, we can see that we need a number. So the number of minutes, how long does this take? The social emotional learning skill, the SEL skill that we want to develop, as well as the grade level. So when I go into Engage, I'm going to create a flow. We'll call this SEL Icebreakers. I'm going to click Save. I'm going to click Design. Now, what I really want to focus on in this, initial promptathon is how you use this platform. Because if we don't know how to use the platform, we're not going to get very far. So over here on the left navigation menu, we have all these different buttons. We're only going to use the first three. First, we need a user interface. So that's a little bit like techie talk. What I did was I clicked and I dragged it over. And a user interface is simply what the user sees. So we know from this prompt that we're going to need to share the number of minutes or the time frame that we're going to, have our task run for. We need the skill that we want to develop, and we want to talk about the grade level. So let's hop over here and let's build this form. I'm going to click on the user interface. And now I have like a bunch of different field types that I can include. I can have a short answer, a paragraph, multiple choice, etc. So here, maybe we'll create a multiple choice that says, sorry, my microphone is in front of my keyboard, and so I knocked over my microphone. So the time frame over here, we'll say, do we want 2 minutes, 5 minutes, or 10 minutes? Here we'll say SEL skill. That can be a short answer. Just you put in anything. What do I want my kids to learn? And here we'll say the grade level. So there we go. We have a user interface. If I click over here, I can see like I have a user interface that lets me choose any of these things. But it doesn't do much right now. We need to actually send it to the AI. So if you've used AI systems before, you know that what you need to do is you need to prompt it. You need to tell it what to do. So we're going to drag in this prompt over here. We're going to click on the prompt. Then we're going to go over here and we're going to copy our prompt over. So what is the AI's job? I'm just going to take what AI for Education has for me, and I'm going to put it here. But because the user is sending me that input, I'm going to take this out, and I'm going to say, your task is to create a short icebreaker activity using the input given from the user. And now, well, what do we need? Well, we need to know the time frame, the SEL skill, and the grade level. There we go. Now that I have my prompt, I need to actually do something with that. So I'm going to send that to the AI system itself. I'm going to click on the AI, bring in the prompt, and then I'm going to choose my AI system. So we said we're going to try to use these local models. There is a service called Grok. This isn't Elon Musk's Grok, which is with a K. This is with a Q, just to make things confusing. But we're going to click on Grok, and we're going to bring in what's called Llama 3 8 billion. I'll click here. So for Llama 3 8 billion, once I've chosen that, I can simply press save, go over here, and bring in another user interface. Engage gives me like a little red line, which shows me where I'm going. I'm going from this user interface to this one. I'm going to click here. I'm going to choose a text output. I'm going to bring in the AI. So why did I do that? Well, I need to send my information from the AI somewhere. So when I click here, I want a 5-minute activity. My social emotional learning skill, let's say it's just understanding and relating to others. And we'll do it for grade 3. I'll click next. And then relatively quickly, I'm going to get a fairly big output for these students. Now remember, this is running off of a local model. I am using Grok because now I'm able to share this easily, but it would be the same if I ran this off my computer. Something that I'm generally like to do is to see do I think like this is good or bad? Do I want to try and see what it would be like if I used something else like GPT-4? So what I might do is I'll rename this one to be Llama 3 AP, just so I know what it is, not AI number 1. Here I'll call this one GPT-4. So again, I know what it is, and simply choose GPT-4 over here. And then I can import this over here. So now we have this and this. Boom. Now we have all of this. We're ready to go. Okay. So social emotional learning skill. We want to build active learning for grade 10 students. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the Llama 3 answer on the top, the GPT-4 answer on the bottom, and I can kind of compare them and say like, wow, okay, I think this one is better. I think this one is better. And I can, really get into it and refine it, modify my prompt as I go. To be honest, I think like this is a pretty cool tool that we've built. What I will do is I'll go back. When I'm done with it, actually in Engage, what I can do is I'm going to delete this GPT-4 thing. I'm going to save this and I'm going to publish it. So now what I'm able to do is I'm able to click edit. I can make this flow public, and then I get a public link, which I'll share right now in the comments. And now anyone who has this link is able to use this activity. So it becomes very, very easy to distribute this. If I did not make a public link, which is okay, then anyone who is registered in my group could use it. So the idea behind Engage is that teachers or staff members can create these activities, assign them to very specific people, and then just pay whatever the cost is. So to run GPT-4 that one time, it cost us a penny. To run Grok, it didn't cost us anything because we were running the local model. So I think, that's a pretty neat little tool. Another tool that I come across sometimes, that I think is really well suited towards a local model is like an IEP generator. So as inspiration, we'll look at another system that offers IEP generators, and then we'll look at can we get good results running this locally versus online? So what I'll do is I'm just taking the inspiration from another system. I'm going to look at this Magic School IEP generator, and I'm going to try to create my own. This is something that I have, I think, shared before on LinkedIn, but I think it's an interesting tool that really highlights the value of potentially using local models. So we'll click IEP generator, click design, and then we'll just look over here. So we need a grade level, a disability category, and then a description of student behavior, needs, and strengths. So bring in our user interface. We'll say first, we want to bring in the grade level. Then we'll bring in the disability category, just to save you guys from watching this so painfully. I'll copy and paste it. And so if we look at this one, this last one, it's a little bit bigger of a space, so we'll turn that into a paragraph and we'll click save. Now this one, we're going to take a couple of steps. We're going to actually iterate over this. So we're just going to say your job is to write an IEP for the student based on the information provided. There are definitely better ways to prompt, like you can say you are an expert at student support, etc. But anyways, we'll take in the grade level, we'll take in the disability category, we'll take in the description of student strengths, behaviors, and needs, etc. And then we're going to send this to Llama. And we might, we could also send this to another platform, but we're actually going to check our response against what we get from Magic School, and we'll see how close we can get to that output. So I just did this kind of fast, but all I did was make this connection between all these different systems. What I'll do is Magic School gives us a really nice exemplar. So 4th grade, autism spectrum, and then this is what we want. So we'll go and we'll test it. Now, we haven't given it a very good prompt, so I wouldn't be surprised if what we get out the end is not that good. But, we'll see. Of course, I could have made like a drop down with all the different grade levels, but I don't want you guys to suffer through that. Very, very fast. We've got student information, date of birth, date of admissions. Here's the goals and objectives. Actually, to be honest, it's not that bad. But if we look at what we got from Magic School, well, this is like a really, really different structure. So if we want to build out this structure, and so this isn't necessarily how you just replicate an existing tool, but more how you can fine tune a tool to your very specific needs. We can try a couple of different strategies. First, we'll try what is a bit more advanced of a strategy, but it's fun. So this is called one-shotting. What I'm going to do is I'm not going to tell the AI anything new. What you can do with AI systems is you can say, hey, before like whatever I'm telling you right now, you actually had a conversation with someone and this is how that conversation went. The user said this and you said this. And what this does is it really shows the AI how to respond. It says, this is an exemplar of how I want you to talk to me. So please talk to me like this. So if I click on conversation, I can add the AI dialogue over here. I'm going to copy from the source. So this is what like the system is actually directly sending to the AI. I'm going to say, well, the user said the grade level is grade 4. The disability category, so I'll just copy this exactly from here, is this. Here's the description of the student needs, etc. And this is what you said. So now when I click save, I'm not sure if this will work, but we'll try it. So here we're going to do this a bit differently. We're going to do grade 6. We're going to say reading disability, and then difficulty parsing long texts, just to, again, keep this quick and simple and going. So I'll refresh over here so that we have a fresh page. Grade 6, paste this in, reading disability. We'll click generate, and then we'll click next over here. So hopefully we'll get something that's kind of similar. So here we have review closely before implementation, present levels of performance. It's a little bit funny about the formatting, student needs and impact of disability. So you can see like I didn't do very much, but it's actually learned this whole format pretty clearly, and it's able to kind of come up with measurable goals, accommodations and modifications, etc. Very, very easy way to start looking at, well, how far can we go and how deeply can we go with this? Finally, we might want to look at, because what we've been doing here are these forms, we might want to look at like, well, how do we create a chatbot? And so after I talk about how to create a chatbot, I'll open this up to any questions if anyone's here. If not, all good. And then hopefully, people take this as inspiration and say, well, I want to try to build some things. I want to see, where we can go with this. So what we'll do is we'll go back to the group and we're going to create, a neat little chatbot, and we'll see how far we can go with it. So one of the ones that often comes up, and I was actually talking to some people today about, is the Socratic method. So the Socratic method, very simply, is a way for us to learn by being asked questions. So, I'm going to say I want to learn about this topic, then to develop my understanding, the method that the teacher or the chatbot should employ is to prompt me with these different questions to help me grow a deeper understanding. So I'm not going to go too crazy with this. Like the main reason why I'm trying to build this is just to have a video demonstration of how to make a chatbot. We're going to drag in a user interface. And now here, we're not going to choose any of this top row. We're not going to choose a voice recording or anything. We're going to bring in a chat box. We're going to click save. We're going to bring in a prompt, and we're going to say, your job is to help a user learn about a topic using the Socratic method. So you should ask probing questions meant to help the user develop develop their understanding. And because, chatbots tend to be very long-winded, we'll just say, reply in no more than 2 sentences. Now, I'm just going to choose my chat box so that it comes in. You can see it's going to the user interface. We'll bring in our AI system, like always. We'll say we're going to use the prompt. We're going to use Grok. We're going to use Llama. And now, we still have a little bit of an issue because our AI isn't going anywhere. So we're going to click on the user interface one more time, go back to the AI, we'll click save, click here. We'll say, hi, I want to learn about social emotional learning. Now, let's see. Okay, what experiences or situations have you led you to wonder about this? So I want to help support young students and learners. And as we can see, actually, this is fairly on point. Of course, we can go a little bit further and see, can this go further? But I'm pretty impressed with where these Llama models can go and really the quality of output that A, they can give us, and B, the capacity to work with, our own personal data or anything that might be private that we don't want to share with these bigger companies. As well, I think it's kind of empowering to be able to run, our own systems as we're going. So finally, what do I hope comes of this? Well, I hope we take this as an opportunity as a group to, dream, imagine, invent, create. A lot of people are sharing a lot of really interesting things. If you have any questions, you want to learn more, or you get stuck, definitely reach out and get in touch with me. There's my email. If you have any questions or comments, definitely feel free to post in the group, post in wherever you are. We can do kind of a live share right now, but also all good. So thanks a lot, everyone. I hope that, there's some sharing that happens as a community. In 2 weeks, I want to do a roundup where at least I will share what I've created. It will be less of a tutorial and more of an example of wow, these are some interesting tools that came. I really hope that there's other people who also create some things that are interesting, and feel free to use any platform. What I'm really interested in is looking at the power of these models. If you did enjoy this, let me know. And hey, Wolfgang, nice to see you.
Yeah, I thought I'd just jump in really quickly, Ryan, because, listening in on this, I just want to personally also say this is absolutely fascinating and exciting. I think what you've been working on and to get to the point where you're at now is just absolutely incredible. And just loving all the development from our perspective also at the TRC. We're loving to see your inspirational thought process, and keep it up.
Yeah, thanks a lot. And if you don't know what the TRC is, definitely also look us up on LinkedIn. We're a group of individuals who Wolfgang can speak more to it, but we're really committed to how do we make schools ready for technology and responsible technology implementation. We do have a question from Greg that says, can we embed the engagements from Engage.ai in different tools? Yeah, so if you create something, like I showed earlier, like the Socratic method bot, if we want to share this, and actually I should share all of these. First of all, I will publish it. And so by publishing it, it makes it available to any students that might be in my group. But then I can click here, edit, and I can make this public. And now I have a nice little public link that will be available to anyone. So I'm going to post this here, and that should go to everyone. We have another example that we created. I'll share the IEP generator that we created. So I will click publish. Very, very easy to embed it. That's kind of the idea, is that you're able to create and distribute tools wherever and however you like, and with whomever you like. So thank you for that, Greg. Cool. Well, I hope it was interesting and enlightening, or at least fun. And I hope we'll see you again, both on LinkedIn, but also, in a couple of weeks where we have our follow-up session. So thanks a lot, everyone, and have a great day or night or wherever you are in the world. Take care.